From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with big news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022 and its direct depositing across the board. We'll go over the breaking economic news that came in today and what does it send us going forward. I have a lot going on across the board. The Build Back Better Act had major breaking news today, as now we have new indication of where the gross national product will be by the end of the year from the White House. But the comments were off the record. Why were the comments off the record? Very fascinating. And do they have that number for the gross national product correct? Because guess what? That talks about recessionary pressures. Well, the latest details on that and why the White House is pivoting to get the Build Back Better Act done in the next few days. Then we'll be looking at the situation unfolding about the Federal Reserve, as the Federal Reserve now saw the new home sales drop even more overnight. The number of sales of existing homes dropped dramatically in the month of March, seasonally adjusted, and then they readjusted the numbers for February. This is big news because this ties up the push to get Build Back Better Act done and also gets the push to get that SS 300 done as well, to raise your benefits up another $300 a month if you're on benefits like Social Security and also veterans benefits. Then we have a big surprise as six stimulus got a new surprise across the board overnight, as now a second state has indicated that it will be sending out a stimulus check to its citizens. Which state is the second state that is now proposing a whopping state stimulus check? I have the latest details on that front as well. Then, one state overnight says that the spread of the subvariant of Omicron is now causing concerns for inflationary pressures in their state as well. It's a major state, and what was that announcement? I have it today is across the board. When we turn into the oil situation, we had a big shocker in the last 24 hours as we learned one of the major players for oil proposed to keep the levels at the same place after Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, but actually curbed production. Not good. We'll have the latest details on that. Then we'll be looking at what's going on with commodities, and we have big surprises as not one, not two, but three major stimulus checks have landed by direct deposit. Stay to the very end, because in today's afternoon's broadcast, we go over all those incredible checks and the checks coming thereafter. The excitement starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. For April 21st, 2022, lots of breaking news as direct deposit of four stimulus checks have now landed, and I'll go over how for you to get those incredible checks. They're coming up late in this recording. First, if you haven't become a member, make sure you become a member, because those are the people who are getting these massive checks. 2 4 stimulus checks and a third stimulus check. The latest breaking news on those brand new checks, they're coming up later in this video. But first, make sure you become a member, so make sure you don't miss these checks and miss the direct depositing of them. The membership link is at the top of the chat, pin, comment, and also under the description of this video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Over this big broadcast today, we have a lot to go over as a lot of economic data came in. And one of the surprising ones is the one we're going to start with today. Wow, this is a big one. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that the way we gauge recession is the gross national product of the U.S. economy. It's called the GDP. And when it's a negative number, we're in recession. When it's zero or relatively flat, like less than 1%, we're on the edge of a recession. It was supposed to be 7% last month, but came in a dropper of 6.9%, missed the benchmark. Then they projected it was going to be at 4% by the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be that way. I think it's going to be lower, potentially down to 1% or negative percent. So minutes ago, we now have a new report out from a White House official that says the GDP number will drop by the end of the year. How low will it drop? They're predicting it will drop to 3.7% by the end of the year, and they think this is good because the projected drop for Germany will be 2.1% GDP, 2.5% for South Korea, and 3.7% for the United Kingdom. What's interesting about this is twofold. One, the comments are off the record. They're by a White House official. Is it Brian DC? Brian, is this your comment? It's by a White House official from the economic team of Joe Biden. Who could it be? And the comments are off the record. Why are the comments off the record? Because, first of all, they're not good comments. They're not good comments because it's basically saying if we're growing at an economy of 6.9% right now, we're going to shrink later by the end of the year to 3.7%. It means something's not working in the Biden administration if you drop at the economy shrinking in by 50% by the end of the year. That's the first reason the comments are off the record. The second reason the comments are off the record is because a lot of people like myself think that this number's not even low enough. It's actually going to be lower. Why is the third reason why the comments are off the record? Is because when you look at the GDP that some Wall Street analysts are projecting, they're saying 4% by the end of the year, and the number came in out of the White House off the record is 3.7%. So they're saying, no, you actually don't, you're actually too optimistic. We think it's going to be worse. That's why the comment is off the record. Now, what's interesting about the second part of this comment is that the White House official off the record thought that this is a great number. Thought this is a great number because when you compare it to Germany, South Korea, and the United Kingdom, which we're certainly South Korea, aren't we? That the number is competitive. Folks, if we're using South Korea as our benchmark at 2.5% growth, we're a much bigger, larger economy than South Korea, and we're certainly a bigger economy than the United Kingdom, 3.7% GDP by the end of the year. We should not say we're doing good at 3.7% in the United States because South Korea is only 2.5%. That is bad economic analysis. It doesn't make sense. So, what does it generally mean for you and your money? It means that the comments from the day before are consistent with the comments today. The comments the day before were that an insider said that the White House is readjusting the focus of the White House on domestic agenda, providing more money to the American citizens. And guess why that's very important? Because later in this video, we're going to see that two states, not one, it was one yesterday, now it's two today, are now proposing to get you a state stimulus check. You know, when a state is trying to give you a state stimulus check, they're basically saying, we got extra money, we're going to send it out to you, probably because the federal government isn't doing it. Yeah, so I don't think that senators who are especially Democrats like to hear that states are taking up the slack and taking care of you, when it should be really the job of the state of the federal government to take up the situation. That is why the White House's insider yesterday, there's a lot of insiders, yesterday said that the White House is refocusing its agenda back on domestic agenda because Americans are getting a little tired of the Ukrainian agenda by the White House. Really working? It's not working. Today, we learned that the White House is dedicating another $1.5 billion to Ukraine. Yeah, so yesterday we said we're going to get off of, not me, the White House said they're going to get off of the focus on Ukraine, and guess what? They're dedicating another $1.5 billion to Ukraine. Let me tell you why this is important for Build Back Better Act, and I think it helps Build Back Better Act, is that the concept of Build Back Better Act is to take care of you, obviously. And when you see the $1.5 billion to Ukraine announced just today, brand new today, it's in addition to everything before, you know what happens is that people see the number and they say, oh, it's just cash. It's just $1.5 billion of cash. Well, that's not the case. But then let's run the titles that are going out today about the $1.5 billion. It's $1.5 billion of military and economic relief. Now, if you just read the title, which a lot of people do, I know that because I see it everywhere. I don't know where else I see people just reading titles, not listening to videos, but you see them reading the title, $1.5 billion to Ukraine for economic and military resort. Then you say, oh, they gave them $1.5 million for cash. That's what I would do. I mean, that's sort of what the title sort of says, economic and military. Then when you read the article, it says $500 million for economic relief. $500 million is not a lot of money, folks. It's very, very little. I mean, that's just, that is nothing. They do that in a blink of an eye. So the fact that the White House said they were going to get off of funding more money to Ukraine, now they're refunding some more military relief with a little bit of economic relief. So this comment by the White House is really that they need to refocus the agenda quickly because a 3.7% GDP growth number projected by the White House is lower than Wall Street, but higher than me. Now remember, if the number is zero or negative, it's recession. And the White House is not going to say, by the way, we're going to recession later this year. A new report out today says that nearly 35% projection for recession is at issue with one of the major banks. You know, some of the banks don't want to say the word recession. I was the first to say we're going to recession. It's coming up later in this video. But Deutsche Bank said that we're absolutely going to recession next year. But we have new reports out today that says Goldman Sachs doesn't want to tell you we're definitely going to recession. They're saying there's a 35% chance today of recession sometime in the next 2 years. That's brand new today. That's in the U.S. Investment Bank. So they're not saying definitely going to recession, but they say a 35% chance. Then they also say that the chances of other things getting actually worse is really across the board. So what's important to understand is that Build Back Better Act now has no support. The new support is the economic data is really missing badly. And the data that's coming out of the White House is sort of not really at issue. That individual off the record said that when you look at the economic elements at issue today, they're pretty good in the United States economy. They're not good. What's going on? With the exception of the unemployment the numbers or the labor numbers, the rest of the market is not doing well. We had the housing starts number released in the last 24 hours, and this number mirrors the prior housing start numbers. Housing starts, which refers to how many homes are sold, are down 4 consecutive months for this economy. The number released yesterday for April 20 of 2022 showed that sales of existing homes dropped 2.7% in the month of March. That's seasonally adjusted, annualized based upon a report obtained by LALATE News, the National Association of Realtors. That showed that March sales of homes were down 4.5% compared to the year before. Now let's understand this number. The number is for all type of homes. Low-income homes, middle-class homes, and mansions or mini mansions. Sales of homes that are less than $100,000 a price tag were down 21% last year. This in March compared to March of last year. How about homes in the mid-income range? They were down 30%. How about homes over 1 million? Down 25%. There you go, 25-30, 25-30. It's consistent that homes are just generally down. Why? Because the mortgage rates, let's look at those mortgage rates. Certainly the White House officials are looking at the mortgage rates as well, and also the Federal Reserve. Why are the mortgage rates higher? Because the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates, and it hurts the situation for mortgages. The mortgage rates are absolutely growing astronomical. When we were looking at the mortgage rates in just January, we were in the 3%. In late February, we were in the 3%. Now we're over 5%. And this is as the number continues to grow across the board. Now, in the case of New York, its governor says that because the subvariant of Omicron now spreading, we could have a rising tide of infections in New York and we could have more inflation. We're taking this very serious, said the governor in the last 24 hours. We're not panicking, but we're not changing economic policies as well. This is as the Consumer Price Index number was released days ago, and that shows that the price of goods in the United States continue to grow dramatically. That CPI number is a pure inflationary number. It looks at the number year to date, and that looks at the number month to month. Year to date, we know it went up. It went up at 8%. That's not a surprise. But what about the number for February compared to March? It went up. It went up. The number for the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, comparing the month of February of this year compared to the month of March, showed an increase of 0.3%. Wall Street is actually expecting even more. So that means that inflation actually tracked higher in March than February. But when we look at the individual industries or the individual products, it actually was a worse in growth of inflation. That number showed that the price of gasoline increased 11% from February to March in less than 4 weeks. Wow. The price of citrus, fruits, and vegetables, beef as well, gained 2%, and other products like normal foods gained 1% in 1 month. So all that says we gotta do Build Back Better Act. We gotta do it because the economic data continues to miss. Now, what about the Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve ties up or links into the analysis of your benefits. Remember, your benefits, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or veterans benefits, have a benchmark every year. How does that benchmark work? Every December, they look at the benchmark and determine whether to raise your benefits. The benchmark for many years has been COLA. It doesn't work. So if COLA is 0, your benefits are the same the next year. And if COLA's 1%, your benefits hardly move up. So what happened last December? Well, inflation was out of control. That's why COLA was 5%, but inflation was 8%. Look how you got sort of cheated on that one. Yeah, I said inflation was going to be 8% in December 2021. It was, and COLA was 5%. So your benefits should have gone up 8%. They went up 5%. So what did Joe Biden promise? He promised in his presidential platform, not just his campaign platform, his presidential platform, to swap COLA for inflation. What does that do? If you swap it when inflation is 8%, you lock in $200 more per month. Not just this month, not just this year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. That's you if you're on SSI, Social Security, Veterans benefits. Then every year they reassess your benefits. If inflation is another 4% this December, your benefits go up another $100. Then you're $300 more per month, not just that month, not just that year, lifetime. So, why is this important today? It's important because the Federal Reserve is set to meet at that next FOMC meeting in just a few days. But we already know, or at least I already think I know, what he's going to do. Who? The Fed President Jay Powell. His Fed governors are really pushing for a half basis point increase, and I think he's going to do it, not just at the next one, but the next two FOMC meetings. That raising that interest rates to a half basis point, will it bring down inflation? No, I don't think so. Why? Because the inflation is currently tracking really hot in the United States not because of just inflation that the Federal Reserve can fix, because of inflation caused by supply chain disruption that the Federal Reserve cannot fix. The Federal Reserve has certain tools in its toolbox, but it doesn't have any tools to fix inflation caused by supply chain disruption. And that supply chain disruption right now in the United States is caused by three factors. And the comments from that individual off the record today, talking about GDP and talking about sales of growth, referred to the disruption caused by Vladimir Putin. And the comments that were on the record last week also referred to the disruption caused by Vladimir Putin. It's more than that. Number one, we still have supply chain disruption caused by coming off of COVID. We're on lockdown, we didn't have truckers. Then we come off of lockdown, we don't have enough truckers. Then we have the Vladimir Putin caused disruption, it's a supply chain. And then we have the new one. The White House is really not addressing this one. I don't know why. Maybe it's a political issue, they want to address it. But the third supply chain disruption is perhaps the worst, and that is the Chinese supply chain disruption. We buy a lot of products from China, and we make a lot of products in China. We also buy products from China. And I guess the White House doesn't want to say that. Guess what? China is on major lockdown as well. That supply chain disruption is hitting China. They can't get their products, they can't get our products out or in, and this is causing supply chain disruption because they're on a lockdown, causes some variant of Omicron hitting their country, especially Shanghai right now. So, does Jay Powell have anything to fix that? He does not. So what is he going to do? He's going to act like he can fix inflation, and he won't be able to. What's the result on that for you? Jay Powell is going to raise interest rates to reduce inflation. And your borrowing will cost more money, which is things like debt, credit card debt, car debts. Those things will cost more money because the interest payments will be higher. Mortgage rates will go higher. Housing sales will drop. But will it impact your SS benefits to swap that COLA to inflation? I don't think so. Why? Because I don't think he's going to get inflation down. He's going to get those interest rates higher, but he's not going to get inflation down. I don't think so. I think that inflation is actually tracking higher than 8% right now because that CPI number showed a higher number for the general overall number for the month of March compared to February. So I think we're about 8+% right today. After those two FOMC meetings, bringing it to half basis point, we're still likely to stay about 8 or 7%. So I think we're still good. And then later this year, I think we're still going to stay at 4%. I don't think Jay Powell's going to get it down to his projected 1.9% across the board. So I think we're fine with that SS 300. Now let's go to the other part of the equation. Student loan debt forgiveness. Wow. The White House pivoting majorly on student loan debt forgiveness is the latest pivot by the White House. You saw earlier in this recording where I told you the White House is trying to get back onto the domestic agenda. The White House is trying to get Build Back Better Act done quickly. And now the White House, in addition to setting out for stimulus checks, taking them out of the Build Back Better Act, is now doing great stuff with student loan debt forgiveness. This situation today is really fascinating. So the White House is really now done a series, no less than 6 major executive orders about student loan debt forgiveness in less than 7 days. Let's go over each of them right at hand. First, let's go back. We had talked about student loan debt forgiveness day one of the Biden administration. Then the Biden administration, by executive order, said we're going to forgive student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation or who went to work in the nonprofit and public sector. Elizabeth Warren really pushed for several months to forgive more debt. Miguel Cardona, the education secretary, said, we're looking at the situation. Then last week, the education secretary under Obama Biden said that Biden can forgive a lot of stuff. He knows he can because we did this under Barack's time as president. And suddenly after that comment, everything started rolling in. First, we learned that the debts that were supposed to be due, starting to be paid back starting in May, will be rolled over to September. The moratorium on the repayment of debts rolled over to September. Number 2, we then heard an executive order from Joe Biden saying that if your debts are in bad standing, we're going to put them in good standing. Meaning if they're in default, we're going to put them back to good standing. Number 3, we heard that the president would completely forgive, 100% forgive, individuals whose debts were procured by fraud committed by the university against the student. Wow. So the university committed fraud against you, the debt will be forgiven completely. And then we had the biggie that came in Tuesday, but we learned more about it on Wednesday. And that is the forgiveness of massive student loans debts. We initially were told millions of student loan debts, then we're told tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. The number of them is overwhelming. Let me tell you what's going on these student loan debts. First, my premise or my disclaimer is I'm not good on debts and borrowing or student loan debts. So I'm just giving you the keywords for you to look up if you want to find them. Of course, you want to go to the Department of Education's website. That's the Federal Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona's website, because there'll be press releases every time something like this happens. What they're doing right now for the student loan debts is that they are forgiving debts based upon a series of new analytics. And what's at issue is that basically there are certain ways that they can modify the student loan debt programs or the laws so that selling debts are forgiven. And so this is what's going on. The Education Department says it's making a one-time adjustment to allow borrowers to provide credit towards loan forgiveness at an income-driven repayment program. So what are the key words you want to look up if you're trying to learn more about this forgiveness? It's for individuals whose debts were supposed to be paid over 20 to 25 years. We learned that. Then there's a key word, the IDR credit. We have ongoing rulemaking. They'll take a look at what type of statutes could qualify for IDR credit, and there may be potential for us to improve those rules as we go forward, says the Undersecretary to Miguel Cardona. So look up the IDR, see if you're an IDR loan. Then we have the loans that are based upon the process called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Look that up as well, Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, in which it's based upon income-based repayment. Income-based payment. If you're based upon that, they're changing the eligibility, they're changing the terminology so more people can be forgiven. Now, what they're also changing in the states is your wallet. Why? Because states are now proposing to give you stimulus checks. Where is that money? How do you get that money? It's coming up in the second half of this video. Then we'll be looking at the big news about 4 stimulus checks. They've been sent out, direct deposited. They're landing in people's bank accounts. How do you get that? There's a lot you're going to learn in the second half of this video, so get your pen and paper ready. Then we'll be looking more forward to what's going on with the oil and what wasn't going on for oil in the month of March. You're going to be shocked. We're going to look back because we learned about this in the last 24 hours. We'll look at the commodities, and that is your price of bread. The supermarket could go higher. Could it go higher? I have that coming up as well. And then we'll be looking at 6 stimulus, what the president's doing with that, and will it morph into 4 stimulus? Boy, we got a big second half. On the shores of Santa Monica, California, we're just getting started on a big afternoon's broadcast. We got a lot of money coming up for you in the second half of this video. Get your pen and paper ready. But first, if you haven't become a member, make sure you become a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get it today. And the second half of this video, we're going to go over big checks that are brand new, that are being direct deposited. Are you ready? I'm ready. Get your pen and paper ready. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. But first, there's a little bit up at the members community page. See you here on Afternoons LALATE in just a second. Plus, we'll have a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE as well. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now,
then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now on a big Afternoons of Afternoons LA for April 21st, 2022. A lot of breaking news across the board as states are now sending out stimulus checks themselves. Where did that come from? The latest great news about that on this big Afternoons broadcast. And then the White House is also sending out stimulus checks. White House sending out stimulus checks. States sending out stimulus checks. It's a great day with a lot of major news. And that is why you don't want to miss the details. I'm going to start to merge state stimulus checks into the membership newsletter because guess what? I thought it was going to be one state. It's not. It's now two and maybe even more. But first, make sure you become a member. The membership link's at the top of the chat pin comment. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, delivered via the YouTube alert system. And with that, let's go over the breaking news across the board. Let's actually first start with that state stimulus. That's a big shocker. So now we have two states. We have now Maine and Pennsylvania. Not law yet, but that's looking like they're going to do it. When they say they're going to do it, they generally do it. Maine and Pennsylvania are both proposing to send out a stimulus check to their citizens. In the case of Pennsylvania, they're looking at $2,000. In the case of Maine, they're looking at $500. I've done this video before. When? Back in 2020 and 2021. What's going on here? First, if you become a member, I'll start to feature the state stimulus programs in the membership newsletter. I'll give you an indication of what's being proposed, and when they're also law, I'll say, hey, it's law. What's going on is very simple. If this looks familiar, it should. Back in 2020, Steve Mnuchin, then Treasury Secretary, said to Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, states have a lot of money. She said, no, states are about to go bankrupt. He said, no, they're not. They have a lot of extra money. And what happened was, he was right. Steve Mnuchin said the states do have a lot of extra money left over from first stimulus. So what happened was, Steve Mnuchin did something which I think is probably the result of what you're seeing today. He put in, or he reminded the states at the time, there was a provision in first stimulus that said, if you don't use the money, you lose the money. Meaning, we gave you money, you start using it, or you're going to lose it. What does lose it mean? They have to return it back to the federal government, and the states don't want to do that. So what did Steve Mnuchin say? Start spending the money, we're going to return it back to it. Guess what happened? When Steve Mnuchin said that in 2020, by late 2020, the states really started sending out stimulus checks left and right. There was a lot of them, and I featured them on this channel. There were counties and there were cities as well. I remember Nashville did one, and there was just sort of random places. Suddenly there was a stimulus check here and there. I'm going to start to feature that in the membership newsletter. What's happening today? In the last 48 hours, we've had two states announce them. And the two states are Pennsylvania and Maine. Now, let me tell you why I think you're going to hear a lot more states in a very short period of time. It's the deadline. The deadline is December 2022. And they can't do this at the 11th hour. They can't say in November, we're sending out a stimulus check. They have to actually use it by that date. So they have to use the money by the date. They have to send you the money by the date. And to send you the money by the date, they have to have a bill in their state legislature to do it. It's not the governor. He doesn't do it by executive order. They have to have something in the state to do it in the state legislature. That requires weeks of preparing the bill, weeks of negotiating the bill in the state legislature, and then weeks of and the voting on the bill. So they need a few weeks, if not a month or 2 or 3 months, to get this ramped up. And I know we're in the summer, but they don't want to wait till the last second. Remember, they got to get you the check. They got to send out the check. Otherwise, they lose it. So let's say they're sending out the check in October. They got to get this ready by July. I mean, that's that quickly. And to get it ready by July, then they got to get the bill ready. So they're really ramping up very quickly. Let's look at the comments today. In the case of Pennsylvania, it says Pennsylvania should not have to choose between paying for utilities and groceries or children or child care or gas. So we have the opportunity and the means to ensure that they're not struggling and ensure their success, says Governor Tom Wolf. Let's get this money out to the people and into the pockets of Pennsylvanians. Same comment from the governor of Maine overnight. Pennsylvania proposing $2,000, Maine proposing $500. Why is there different amounts of money? And why are they saying this? One, they're doing this for political advantage. Number two, they know they have to spend the money. And if there's so much money sitting around, it's going to look bad if they buy office furniture. So they're not going to buy office furniture or buy new lawn for the Capitol building. If they know they have enough money to give you a stimulus check, they're going to do it. And the states that have a little bit more left over, they're going to spend more money, like Pennsylvania, $2,000 versus Maine at $500. Now, that's the states. As the states announce more, I'll feature them in the newsletter. But let's turn to the president. The president has refocused the agenda of the United States government back on his Congress on getting that Build Back Better Act done and the economic agenda. But the president also understands that if he can get things done quicker, he's going to do them. And what is he doing? What is he doing is he's taking provisions out of Build Back Better Act and making them law. Yes, he's taking checks out of Build Back Better Act and making them law. And he's doing them across the board. He's sending out the checks, and the checks are landing by direct deposit. And they're huge. They are not small checks. They're not $500 or $2,000 checks in the case of the states. No. These are $50,000 checks or $80,000 checks or $10,000 checks. So let's go over the details of what's going on right now. The President of the United States took out a home weatherizing grant check out of the Build Back Better Act second cluster and made it law on March 31st. It's a $6,500 check, and it just started to land, and you need to get it. $6,500 to $12,000. How do you get it? It's coming up in just a second. Then the president took a $15,000 to $80,000 stimulus check. You heard me right. Look at that amount of money, and made that law March 4th. Third, the president team is now making it very clear if you have money left over for a third stimulus, start paying it out to pay out more months. And that is likely, I'm just projecting, I'm just guessing that maybe the reason why the states are paying out more money for this MSE is because the third stimulus may end up running out pretty soon and they want to spend the money. So let's go over these big sums of money right at the hand. The first check is a $6,500 check, and it is huge. It's landed by direct deposit. It has now become a law. The president has made a law. He took it out of the Build Back Better Act. It was at the second cluster, and it's now law. First, how much? It's $6,500 to $12,000, depending on the state. Number two, where was this? This was part of the Build Back Better Act, but it's now law. It's a forced stimulus check. It is now law. Third, what is it called? It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. Fourth, once you get approved, it lands by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Fifth, who can get it? What is the income qualification? Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And then if you're on benefits like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or veterans benefits, viewers have gotten as well. Countless viewers have gotten this check. Many on benefits have gotten across the board. So where do you get this check? You get this check by becoming a member. The membership link is at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment and also in the description. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino BIP. Get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered via the YouTube alert system. When you open the membership newsletter, then your first few lines will be about oil, wheat, and grain today. And right after that, you're going to see the details of Check A, the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. It'll give more descriptions and more eligibility about what the money is used for. And then there's going to be a link. You click the link to go right in and apply. It's going to send you to the federal website. Then you click that link to go into your state. Then you choose the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant in your state, and you pounce, you apply, you pounce, you get these checks. And viewers have gotten them, and you can get it as well. As one viewer last night, Carol, said, this is so straightforward. LLA makes it so simple. She got massive sums of money last night, as revealed in the live chat. She said, LA makes it so simple. He does all the work for you as a member. It's all lined up. Then let's go to that check B. That check B is even easier, and it's even more money. It's a $15,000 to $80,000 check. It became law March 4th, and it is wonderful. First, how much money is it? It's $15,000 to $80,000. It became law on March 4th, and the viewers of this channel are tracking at $66,000 to $80,000. It is a forced stimulus check. It was in the Build Back Better Act. The president took it out as well. And the income qualification is the same as a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it as well. Finally, if you're on benefits, you can get it as well. I've had a lot of viewers on benefits who have gotten this. And this is called the Homeowners Grant Check. Again, you open that membership newsletter, you go right in there, and you're going to see more about what this check is used for. It's used for things like property taxes, home repairs. And you're going to get another link. It's a different website. You go into this website, it'll send you to the national website, and you're going to see a map. You click on the map for your respective state. Let's say Tennessee. Click on your state of Tennessee. Then you go into your respective state. It will then have the Tennessee application. You pounce, you get that application on file. Once you get that application in, you get funded within about a week. That's the current turnaround time. And there you go. That is check A and B. Now let's go to check C. Check C is also law. The only difference with check C is it may run out sooner than check A and B because it's been around since January 2021. This is an MSC check. Let's understand what check C is and how it came to fruition. Check C is the result of this channel's work over the last 2 years. This channel approaches its 2-year anniversary on April 25th this week. This channel in December 2020 had me really focus on the negotiations, Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi. They weren't getting it done. So I knew you needed to check. It was the holidays. And I said, let's find some money. Let's find it. And I found it in rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. I said, here's some money. And viewers got the money. Not a lot of it was available. $250,000 of the viewers got it, like Tyrone, his family of 4 out of Boston. Got $15,000, paid his bills all the way to next year. But I got very lucky. You got very lucky because I had a preview of a piece of legislation, almost an exclusive document of what was coming in the next year in 2021. I call it third stimulus. I coined the expression, as I always do for third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth. I said, look how much money is in there for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. If that becomes law, you're going to clean up. It did. And when it became law, I said to the viewers, I can get you about $15,000. I was wrong. Viewers cleaned up at about $45,000. Then last summer, I said, get another round, 3 to 4 months. You got it. Last fall, winter, Santa stimulus. We said, get another round, 3 to 4 months. Then this January, I said, get another 3 to 4 months. Viewer said, no, I'll just get a whole year. Excuse me? A whole year? Who said you can get a whole year? The people they reached out to. And they turned it into, the viewers of this channel turned it into an MSC check. They're averaging about $2,000 a month now over 12 months. And the success stories are everywhere. I've had every viewer imaginable able to get these checks. As one viewer last night, Carol said, he makes it so easy for you, folks. He gives you everything in the videos. All you have to do is listen to the videos. He explains to you how to get the checks. Then he puts it in the membership newsletter, and he actually writes it out for you. He actually tells you the 6 places to reach out to. He tells you about the 6 nonprofits to reach out to. He makes it so simple. So let's understand how simple and how easy it has been for other viewers. If you've had a success story, post it in the live chat if you're watching it right now. I don't care if the success is $1 or $100,000. I don't care if the success story was today or a year ago. Let's look at these rent numbers. Wow. Viewers understood how straightforward and simple this is. Look at these massive sums of money, $20,000 to $30,000. It's so straightforward. Then utility assistance. Wow. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Absolutely so darn simple. Then when I look at the combos, look at these big numbers. Astronomical. 30,000, 32,000. And then the numbers get even higher because when I really push, people even do bigger and bolder. Marcus at 32,000, then he went to 150,000, then he went to 100,000, then he got more from A, B, and C's checks. He's at 160,000. Lorraine was at 105, now she's at 120. We have Johnny, who got $80,000 for himself. Johnny got $50,000 for his family twice. And then Johnny helped, I think it was 24 people. Got them 350,000. It was either 350 or 850,000. I can't remember. It was an enormous amount because it's 24 people collectively over 2 or 3 months. This is so easy for you to get. It is so straightforward. I've had countless viewers say, LA, I got another penny. Keep on getting it. Keep on getting it. So where do you get this money? You open that membership newsletter. You go right into lowering the membership newsletter. It goes over how to reach out for this third stimulus, where to get it from. And the benefits of the membership newsletter is it's explained out very detailed for you in the membership newsletter. And the members also get other places to reach out to get those big sums of money. Now, let me explain to the viewers of this channel how to do it right now. You're going to reach out to a series of different places. You're going to reach out to your city hall and your county hall, your state hall, state housing authority, city hall, and city housing authority, county hall, county housing authority, state hall, and state housing authority. And the key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. And if you're a member of this channel, you're going to reach out to 15 places because you're also going to reach out to nonprofits. Put multiple applications in and do the months, as many months as you can, upwards of 12 months. Open that membership newsletter because in there is the nonprofits. The nonprofits are incredible. The nonprofits pick up for the money in those states where you may have issues in your respective states and get those big sums of money. And get them today. Then don't wait, because the average view of this channel is getting about $40,000, $45,000 from this third stimulus. Get it right today. You don't want to wait. You deserve it. These sums of money are available. You don't want to wait across the board. And that is your check C. Get it right today. Check C, check B, and check A. That is, my friends, the benefits of becoming a member. The benefits of becoming a member is it's all put together for you by me, wrapped up in a bow. You just have to read and then apply or pick up the phone and call. It's all wrapped up for you. You don't have to guess how it works. The membership newsletter writes it out for you line by line. As Carol said last night, he makes it so simple for you. That's why viewers have cleaned up so well from this channel. All you have to do is listen. Get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. That's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, and delivered via the YouTube alert system. Meantime, make sure you go to the front of the channel, hit the subscribe button. I don't want you to miss an alert, so make sure your alerts are turned on by subscribing, and then going to the front of the channel, hit the bell button. Make sure that bell is set to all alerts. Let's turn to 6 stimulus, which is very fascinating. Could 6 stimulus be merged into 4th? It could, because suddenly stimulus packages are very much overlapping. 7 stimulus student loan debt forgiveness this week, paying out. 3rd stimulus paying out this week. 4th stimulus paying out. Yeah, so there's a lot of stimulus packages paying out at the same time. Could 6 be paid out at the same time? Possibly. We'll go over more about that 6 stimulus on Evenings LA tonight. It is the situation on that oil. The oil prices continue to surge higher. Why? Because there is just not enough replacement oil. We learned yesterday that, in fact, we're short on even more oil than initially thought. We and you and I understand that the amount of oil that Russia provides to the world economies is 3 million barrels a day. Those economies don't have that 3 million barrels anymore, with the exception of a few that are still buying it, because they're now embargoed Russia. So how many barrels of gasoline have we replaced the 3 million missing with? 1.5 million. The White House is dedicating 1 million barrels of gasoline per day per day for 6 months to the U.S. economy. That is 1 million barrels per day. We're losing 3 million barrels a day from Russia. What else is being supplied? The Western allies have dedicated 500,000 barrels a day to their economies. So that's 1.5 million we're supplementing to replace 3 million missing. We're still short 1.5 million. Are we short 1.5 million? No, we're actually short more. How are we short more? A new report that came in yesterday for April 20th showed us that a report said on the supply chain, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and then OPEC Plus produced 1.45 million barrels per day below its projected target in the month of March. So we thought that OPEC was going to keep its current production levels. It actually had less than its production levels of 1.5 million barrels per day. Ouch. So 1.5 million there, 3 million in Russia. That's 4.5 million lower. And then we have the White House and the Western Allies supplying 1.5 to offset that 4.5 missing. Yeah, we're 3 million missing a day. Ouch. That really hurts. And with that, here is a new commentary I want to deliver for you in this big broadcast for April 21st, 2022. I've seen something very unusual the last few days, and I got to address it right now. It is individuals who come into a video that has a live chat and get confused what the purpose of a live chat is, and then they get confused by the video. Let me explain. The videos, especially Evenings LA, coming up tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is going to be really jam-packed tonight with a lot of breaking news, is a 1-hour broadcast. There's a lot going on in that 1-hour broadcast. We go over third stimulus and the MSC checks. We go over fourth stimulus, and those checks have gone out. We go over fifth stimulus, the SSI reform. We go over sixth stimulus, happening potentially this month. We go over state stimulus now a little bit with those checks from states coming out. We go over seventh stimulus with the student loan debt forgiveness. That's a lot to digest in a 1-hour broadcast. There's a lot for me to say. What are some people incorrectly doing? They're coming into the video, and the video starts to play, and they start to type in questions. Not to me, but to other viewers. Now, you may be really good at multitasking. I think I'm pretty good at multitasking. But I got to tell you, if a video's playing and you're typing a question, not to me, but to someone else watching the video who may not be there to answer your question, then suddenly you just may have missed everything I just said. Because it takes an effort to type a question, and you're focusing on typing and what to say, and then you're sending and focusing on, oh, I made an error, let me edit the question. Okay, press send, and then you're looking at the screen waiting for someone to respond. They didn't respond. I didn't get my question answered. Oh, and then the video has just now played for 5 minutes while you were typing up that question. And then you wonder, wait, I don't have my question answered. Does the video answer it? It did, and you just missed it because you were typing a question. Please. The purpose of people in the live chat is not for them to answer your question. And the purpose of the live chat is not for you to ask a question. The video answers the questions. I answer questions for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh stimulus. I got to tell you, in a given week, there's very few things that I don't cover that aren't in the video. But my issue is the following, is that if you're typing questions, you're missing what's going on in the video. And if you miss what's going on in the video, then you miss the check. And you miss the money, and you miss the direct deposit, and then you miss the moolah. So don't spend time typing out a question in the live chat if it results in you missing what the video's saying. Now, there's other opportunities to ask questions to other viewers. For example, you could be in the live chat before the video starts and sort of ask questions amongst each other. Or you could be in the video that's the live stream where the video is repeating something that you saw earlier today. So you already heard the content of the video. You understand what the video says. But don't miss what the video says. Don't miss what the video says because you're typing a question. That ain't going to work. Moreover, the viewers who are in the live chat are there to listen, to interact, and they may not be there to answer your question. They already may know the answer to the question. They may not like your question. And so if they don't answer your question, then you spent your time not focusing on the video that does answer your question, on someone in the live chat that may not know the answer to your question, may have the wrong answer to your question, or may not have seen your question. The chat may be going too fast, and they may have missed your question. So do not use the chat as a way to miss the video. You can do whatever you want in typing in the live chat so long as it's respectful and follows all policies of the channel. But I don't want you to miss what's in the video. Do not miss what's in the video, because you miss what's in the video because you're typing something, then you miss the potential moolah. And tonight, we have a 1-hour special broadcast of Evenings LA. It's in prime time. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So remember, if you have questions about any of these checks, you can always send a question to the members on this channel. And if you have a question about something that was not covered in the video, notice how I qualify that? If there's something not in the video, you can send me a private message and I'll try to answer the question as well. That's how you get your questions answered across the board. And with that, make sure you become a member. The link is out in the video and on the pinned comment description. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. You deserve all these incredible checks, so get them right today. Remember, become a member. The link is there. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter tonight. And with that, stay informed, stay focused. Stay here. Listen to the videos, and I'll see you tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time as Evenings LA returns.